Hey guys, Joe here, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast, joined this afternoon by Julian Edlow, host of the Unreasonable Odds Podcast, content specialist for Draftkings. Julian, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Joe, thanks for having me again. I guess I didn't screw up too bad the first time. I'm back.
Oh, I was weighing it and I was like, no, he's good.
Yeah, it must have been a tough call.
It was not a tough call at all. It's an absolute pleasure having you here today, Julian. We're going to talk some Boston Celtics, Golden State Warriors today. Game 3 here. You excited for it?
I am excited. I think I mentioned the first time on. I'm a season ticket member for the Celtics, so I admit that I have my fandom there while I'm betting on the NBA, and so I sold my Game 3 tickets and I kept my Game 4 tickets. I'll be there on Friday night. And now that Wednesday I was cool with that. Like, you make plenty of money on a big game, and now that Wednesday has arrived, I'm just insanely jealous that I'm not going.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. How could you sell your tickets for tonight's game? How? Oh, I know, but
We're all in this business to make money, right? This was an opportunity.
that is true. But watching on your couch tonight, or are you going to a sports pub?
No, I'm single parenting tonight. The wife is out of town, so I'll have my 2.5-year-old down. So I'm locked down to the couch. I
Well,
use that as an excuse, like, as I couldn't have gone anyway because I have to do this. So there's my
absolutely.
built-in excuse.
Parenting roles overcome games. That is for sure. So what are you thinking with this one? Are you rooting for your Boston Celtics to get the win here? Of course you're rooting for them.
Of course I
Are
am.
you betting for them?
Right. So let's distinguish that. I'm glad that you actually said it that way. Because I sat out game 2. I was like, I might look for I bet Celtics first half in game 1 and Al Horford to outscore Draymond Green. Those wound up coming through. Game 2, I was like, this is a must-win game for the Warriors. Like, nobody goes down 2-0-2 at home in the NBA Finals. So I couldn't get there pregame.
Yeah.
But I was looking for a good number in game. I wanted like something between 8.5 and 10.5 on the Celtics. And I wound up playing the Celtics plus 9.5 live, which lost. They got absolutely mopped in the second half. But I'm glad that you said it that way, because I got a tweet after, like, is that bet as a bettor or as a Celtics fan?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's as a bettor. I went into it beforehand. This was the number I was looking for. I got it, and I thought it could get there. As a Celtics fan, what's the point in losing by 9 or less points? That doesn't do anything for you. If you're a fan, you're chasing that money line, you want to win. So, like, it's important to point out when your team is involved in something that, anything that I put out as a play is what I believe in as a bettor, not as a fan. I'm going to root for the Celtics in all 6-7 games, however long this series goes. However, this is a Celtic spot. Game 2 was a Warriors spot. Game 3 is a Celtic spot. They're 6-0 straight up and against the spread off a loss in the postseason. They're ridiculous off a loss going back to January. Coming off their 2 double-digit losses of the postseason so far, they've won by 13 and 25 in the next 2 games. Obviously, they had a double-digit loss in Game 2 in Golden State. Off their 6 losses, they've come back and won the first half by at least 6 points in 5 of them. The other one they did trail by 1 to Milwaukee. So I think for first half wise, they're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
Limit the turnovers from game 2. They're now, I think, adjusted to and expecting the physicality that, Draymond Green, physicality, antics, whatever you want to call it, that Draymond Green brought into that last game. I think they're more prepared for that, especially with the crowd behind them at home. I think the officials are put a little bit more on alert to maybe watch out for Draymond Green, who I'm not somebody that's going to complain about all those calls or missed calls or whatever.
Yeah.
But some of them probably just like some of them are going to come back the other way and get called when Draymond's running around setting 5 moving screens on a possession. So I think things swing back the Celtics way. 2 points for Al Horford last game. 2 points for Marcus Smart last game. They're going to play better at home. Jaylen Brown's going to shoot better at home. It just feels like a spot that the Celtics bounce back as they have all postseason. It's going to be harder against the Warriors than some of these other teams because the Warriors are the best competition they've faced, and they are, a very good road team too. But the spot sets up Celtics.
I love it. I really hope the Celtics come out, have a fantastic night. Are there any players you're looking at to prop bet tonight, Julian?
So I don't hate. I just mentioned the guys that had down games. Robert Williams was also one of them. He's dinged up. I can't go there with him. I don't
Yeah.
hate going after Marcus Smart or Al Horford props, looking at overs just for the bounce back spot. I haven't gotten there on any of those yet. Honestly, I'm gonna fade Draymond Green just from the points perspective. I did it with the matchup with Al Horford in game one. I'm just gonna take the under 8.5 points for
Okay.
Draymond in game three. Um, he had 9 in game two. He got over it by the hook, but
Yeah.
he was 5 of 7 from the free throw line. 7 free throws is the third most Draymond has shot in a game this season. He also, going 5 for 7, shot about 7 percentage points above his average. And he hasn't shot 7 free throws in a game since November 10th. He's not going to shoot
Wow.
7 free throws in this game. If you
Yeah.
just look at him from a field goal perspective, he's 4 for 15 from the field in the series. He's 0 of 5 from deep. He scored 8 points in 2 regular season games total against the Celtics, 4 in game one, and then he gets the 9 in game two. So he's averaging just over 5 points per game in 4 games against the Celtics this year. And I just think coming off the 9, it's a good spot to just go the other way and take that under, because that's where Draymond usually is. Not to mention he's going to have the whole crowd against him.
Yeah, you
They're
will.
selling, I won't use bad words, but they're selling anti Draymond Green shirts outside of the Garden at those little t-shirt stands. He's somebody that will like get into it with the crowd.
Yeah.
An early technical wouldn't surprise me. Like, he could get 2 fouls in the first couple of minutes and be sitting on the bench. That helps your under. I think there's a lot of ways to get there. And, fouls and technicals are just a cherry on top. If he plays his usual minutes load, I still don't think he's getting there just based on the law of averages here.
Yeah, nice under call there. Now, you talked earlier about live betting some of these games. When you live bet, Julian, do you go in with some sort of strategy that if the team that you're liking goes down, you're going to bet them? Or what are you looking at when you're live betting?
Yeah, I think you have to have a strategy, but you also have to keep an open mind for what's going on in the game. So, I didn't think the Celtics would necessarily win game two. I thought that they would be able to battle back and not let that get as out of hand as it did. And, I was wrong there. At the same time, a lot of the best live bets are ones that kind of sneak up on you. Foul trouble, ejections, those aren't built into live numbers. I think the best example is a couple years ago. There was a game in Charlotte. It was actually a Warriors game. Charlotte, Steph Curry's hometown, so he likes to play in those games. It was like right at tip. Steph Curry got ruled out, personal reasons or something. So it didn't have time for the line to change, but there also wasn't really time to get bets in because it was just right at tip. So the game went off the board. So if you opened up that live line, it was factored in that Curry would be playing. So there was just a ton of value on the Hornets, and that never got adjusted. So that just shows in live betting, there are certain things, if you take somebody out of the game, that's not going to be factored in, whereas it would cause huge line movement before a game. So that's probably the main thing that I look for.
Yeah, just pay attention, find those opportunities in there for sure. Now, what is going on right now at DraftKings for you, Julian?
Yeah, so we have the usual, NBA Finals promos going on tonight. If you're a same game parlay better, you can go get a boost there and whatnot. But what I'm excited about right now is that we did, I think 2 nights ago, we got NBA draft props up and live on DK Sportsbook. One of the first to do so. They're not around on all books right now. Everybody's offering like the number 1 pick and whatnot. The only thing I've bet on so far is Jabari Smith at some reasonable numbers to be the top pick. He's all the way up to like minus 450 or something now.
Okay.
But you can bet on top 10 markets for the NBA draft. And we have our first batch of draft position over-unders on the board of some of those guys expected to go in the top 20 or so. I'm a huge draft bettor. The NFL draft is king. That's where I think you're going to make the most money if you pay attention. But the NBA draft is coming up. It's Thursday, June 23rd. So I think 2 weeks from tomorrow.
It's in a blink.
And props are starting to, I won't say starting to. Props are on the board at DraftKings Sportsbook. We'll be adding more, but there's a lot there. And, it's definitely a better time during the NBA Finals to start doing your homework when everybody's eyes are on that, to start getting those bets in and see what you can do, even though the draft is further away. Because once this series wraps up, you're going to see a lot of movement because people are going to start focusing in on that.
Okay, so if people are looking for more information on what to look for betting these draft props, should they check out your podcast? Are you going to be talking about it in the next couple of weeks?
They should check out my podcast. Now, I'm not going to have one until I think Tuesday, the 21st. So it'll be a couple
Okay.
days before the draft. But we will have some very informed guests on that. And, there'll still be value on the board. There still will be things on the board, and a lot of information is going to change between now and then. So we will have you covered on Unreasonable Odds on that Tuesday, June 21st edition. But leading up to then, I'll have articles and stuff, and definitely tweets, because when information comes out, sometimes it's easier to just say, this is what I'm on, here's why, keep it short and sweet, and get that out.
Absolutely, Julian. Well, we can see your Twitter handle there, but can you let everyone know where to find you on all of the different platforms you're on?
Twitter's it. I'm boring.
Okay.
I
No,
look at my Facebook like once a year. I don't have an Instagram. Everybody's telling me to get Instagram. I probably should. It's probably good for me, for business purposes or whatnot. Yep. But Twitter, right down there, at Julian Edlow. Follow Unreasonable Odds, at Unreasonable Odd. We ran out of room for the S. Oh, well. Follow those two places. You got the link to all my articles right in my Twitter bio.
Absolutely. Well, Julian, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time, and all the best to your Boston Celtics tonight.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Joe.
Yeah, enjoy watching on the couch. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll be watching on the couch too. It's okay.
I know. I'm just watching on the couch like the rest of us tonight. I'll be there Friday. It's good enough.
There you go. I can't wait to see that game of Friday. Enjoy it there. Thanks, Julian.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Take care.